Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to Luna's bookshelf. So in today's video, as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about some books I'm scared to read. Not because the books themselves are scary, like horror or thriller. No, I'm just intimidated by them, or I'm just like a little bit not sure how I would like them. Yeah, we're going to talk about them. There are quite a few, not really a lot of books, but quite a few different genres. So let's talk about them. So the first book is a really obvious one. I've talked about this book on my channel before, that I'm like a little bit hesitant in reading it because I am an emotional person and this book may cause a lot more emotional things happening to me. So yeah. And that first book is A Little Life by Hania Yamki. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. So yeah, everyone I think knows this book by now. There are a lot of trigger warnings before reading this book. It has a lot of things happening in this book that could be very emotional. A lot of people don't recommend even reading it because it had such an impact on them. So that's why I'm a little bit scared to read this book. Especially, I'm a really emotional person and I get attached to characters and things very fast. I've seen movies where I still think about it to this day. Like, there are things happen. If you've seen 30 Reasons Why, there was a scene with Tyler, and it is permanently in my brain. I can't unsee it. And I also saw the movie It Smelled last year, and there were also some very disturbing scenes. And I'm a little bit scared because I still think about those scenes and these things that happened in those films, movies, and series. I'm scared this book will have the same effect on me. And when I read this, I really want to be in a very, very, very good place. Not that I'm not at the moment, to be very clear, I'm very happy. But I don't know if I'm stable enough to go through all of this because it's pretty intense. And it's also a very thick book. It's like 700 pages. Yes, it is a total of 720 pages. I did start reading it one time, like a couple of years ago, and I just stopped because I couldn't get into it. So maybe it's just not for me, but I'm not going to get rid of the book yet because I still am a little bit curious about it. So yeah, but the first book. Let me know if you have read A Little Life and what your thoughts on the book are in the comments. Then the author is more like an author. I have two books from this author, and I bought both of these books because of Jack Edwards talking about, especially about one of the books, and saying it is really good. It's really like a classic vibe, but this is a genre I normally don't really read, so it's something I've been putting off for a long time. It's really weird, maybe, that I bought one book and then last summer I bought another book by the same author, but I still haven't read that first book. But I'm like, she could be good, she should be good, but I'm just scared to read it because it's more like historical fiction. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about the author, and that author is Maggie O'Farrell, and I'm talking about the books Hamnet and The Marriage Portrait. So yeah, these are both books that are pretty well known, I think, especially Hamnet. So in Hamnet, you follow its. I also started this once, but never really read more. So this has to do with Hamnet, who died, and the play Hamlet by Shakespeare. It is, I think, if I'm not correct. That's really embarrassing, but yeah. But I'm just a little bit scared to read it because I don't know if I'm going to understand because I never read like anything by Shakespeare or Hamlet. I don't know really a lot of backstory about it. So I'm just intimidated by the story itself, but also maybe the writing, that I won't understand the things that are happening and written in this book. So yeah. And then it's actually the same for The Marriage Portrait because this is also based on true events. In the front it says historical note, that's also the same in Hamnet. It says In 1516, 15-year-old Luxuria di Cosmo de' Medici left Florence to begin her married life with Alfonso II d'Este, Duke of Ferrara. Less than a year later, she would be dead. The official cause of her death was given a petrified fever, but it was rumored that she had been murdered by her husband. And I looked it up, and this is also something that's real. So I think that's why it scares me, because it's like very historical, both of these books and the book she writes. That I maybe it's not really my genre because I don't really read a lot of historical fiction books, but I do want to give it a try, but I'm just too scared. But if you've read any of these books, or if you've read both of these books and you really like them, convince me in the comments to read these books, because I really been wanting to read it. This one I almost started, but then I bought another book and just didn't read it. And this I started, but just never continued reading, like 5 pages in, and then I stopped. So yeah, that are the second and the third book. Then another book is like, this is a whole different genre than the other 3 books we've had. And it may come surprising because I've read books by this author before, but I'm just a little bit scared to read this book because I don't know if I'm going to like it. And there's a lot of hype about this book. And that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So this is a series, a fantasy series, and it's really hyped up. I've read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I really love that. But for some reason, I'm more scared to read this, even though this is so far a shorter series than Throne of Glass. But I don't know if I'm going to. I'm just not sure if it's going to be my vibe. I really want to try it. I've had it like for 3 years, this book already, and I still haven't read it yet. It is on my 25 books to read for 2025, so I hopefully will get to it, but I just don't know why. I think it's because I'm a little bit hesitant and picking up new series, because most of the time the series are pretty long, or quite a lot of books, and I tend to maybe forget like key points. And it's a little bit sad. That's also a reason why I read Throne of Glass in one line, so I wouldn't forget details that are maybe important to the storyline. And I think that's why I'm a little bit scared to read this, because it's kind of a big series. I think there are like 5 books. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there are 5 books so far, but there's a next book coming out with that. I think, I'm not sure, but yeah. I'm just really want to try this book and see if it is worth the hype, because I really love Throne of Glass again, and I want to explore the whole metaverse with Crescent City. But I know a lot of people say you have to read all of the books before. You also have to read A Court of Thorns and Roses before you read Crescent City, because I'm very curious to read Crescent City, but I want to read this first before starting that. So yeah, if you read this, let me know. And then now we're going to go into a genre that's very specific. No, not real specific, but it's a genre I think a lot of us are scared to read, because it's just a little bit more intimidating than just fun romance and fantasy books and thriller books. And that are classics. So if you can see, I have 4 classics, and we're going to go over all of them. So the first is by the same author, first two are by the same author, and that is George Orwell, and I have 1984 and Animal Farm. I bought these in Italy, so that's why it's not like the Penguin version. But yeah, I'm just with these classics. I don't know a lot about both of these books and about the story and what it's about. I just know a little bit, but I'm just scared I'm not going to understand and won't fully get the story and get what it is about and the meaning behind these books. So I think that's what I'm most scared of, because I mean, especially Animal Farm is such a short book. It's like not even 200 pages, I think. I mean, it's 158 pages. So it's not that big. So that's not why it intimidates me and why I'm scared to read it. It's more the content of both of these books that scare me. So yeah. I really want to read a classic this year. Every year I make the goal to read one classic, and still I haven't read a classic. I've been really eyeing to read The Little Woman, but I don't have that, just because there's such a really cute cover, and I think that's what convinced me. So maybe I will that one and I'll read that, but we never know. You never know. But yeah, I really want to try both of these, and I think what I'm going to do before reading both of these two books is do a little bit more of research on the contents and about the backstory about this book, so I'm sure that I understand it. You know, if you've read these, let me know if you found it hard to understand the story and understand the back story a little bit, and the background, and what the true meaning is behind both of these books. And then the other two classics are also by the same author, and that is Jane Austen. So yeah, I have two books by her. I have Pride and Prejudice, and I have Sense and Sensibility. Yeah, with these books, it's just, I'm scared I don't understand the writing. It is a little bit different, I think, from the writing I'm now used to reading. So that's why it's not that thick of a book, but the because it says 267 pages, but here it starts at page, give me a sec, it starts at page 5, so this is actually the whole book. So it's not that it's a lot, but I'm just scared I'm going to struggle with writing style, and that's the same for Sense and Sensibility. I've known a little bit about the story, but nothing about Sense and Sensibility. Jane Austen is a really well-known author from the time she wrote books. So I'm like, I just have to, especially if, as a romance reader, and as a reader, I think I should read a classic book once in a lifetime. So hopefully I will. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little bit scared to read either of these books, because they can be maybe the writing style not my kind of style that I like to read. So that's why I'm a little bit scared. Because I did try to read like a couple of pages in Pride and Prejudice, but I stopped. I don't know what the reason was that I stopped reading. I think it was just I was not in the mood for to read it. But yeah, maybe one day I'll make a video about reading classics. I think that will be a fun video. So it will be like me challenging myself to read classics. So I finally read a classic book. So yeah. Okay, that are all the books I'm personally at the moment am scared or intimidated by to read. And I don't think it's a lot of books. I mean, we have 4 classics, we have 2 books by the same author, and yeah, then 1 fantasy and 1 more difficult emotional book. So yeah. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments and what your thoughts are on it. And let me also know if there are books you are scared or intimidated to read, and why. Because I think it is okay to be a little bit scared to read some books or be intimidated by some books. I mean, I was intimidated by some books I've already read, and I end up liking them, like Throne of Glass. It's an intimidating series, but I ended up loving it. So yeah. I hope you liked this video, and if you made it this far in the video, comment down a flower emoji in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!